Don't blink, it's your boy Ink. Welcome to another video, another Battle of Titans. I am so fucking excited to do this. I am so fucking excited for the subject of today. Oh my god, I am beyond excited. You guys have no idea. So what are we doing today is very special. This is a tree video in one. We got three products, which seemingly would be the three videos, but there's more. There's more. Guys, welcome to one of the video that I want this to establish the channel as what it is, as the identity of the channel. And the fact that the alcohol is involved doesn't have shit to do with it. It's just the nature of the beast, right? So we had the first video, which is a Friday beer, which is something I like to do. Every Friday we have a beer. Technically, we're Sunday morning at 1 a.m. But who's counting? What we have here, my friends, are Pipito, which is a Québécois, a Quebecer, or a Québécois, alcohol drink, right? We had the three of them. So we bought a can for when I got the sofa, which was fucking months ago. And with the can, what we did was my father, he helped me, and I wanted to buy this so we could in some shape or form, and a lot of shape or form, the one, and bro, I'm so excited. I bought these so we could drink together, right? Because he likes, and that was a Quebecois product. My friend, my father is pro French, he's pro Quebecois, he's pro patriotism, or he's a patriot of Quebec, right? So we bought this trying to please him, but he was like, no, I gotta drive. And I was like, shit, whoopsies. So what we're gonna do is a Friday beer, which is, again, me talking to you guys on a Friday, enjoying a beer. We're gonna do a taste test. We got the three of them, which is a Combat of Titans. Which of these three Pepito is the best? Plus, we're gonna be drinking and talking, so it should be a good time. And I'm gonna have a rant on the power of lies and the unimportance of truth. So grab a beer, grab some popcorn. It's gonna be a long ass video and probably uninteresting, but again, if this is going as I plan and I'm not too drunk, because again, these three, oof. So yeah, so seemingly the identity of the channel. Again, usually what I like to do is the price, they were all together. Don't do what I'm doing. I'm using a knife to open up the can. Don't do that, it's dangerous. But then if you could, you would. We got Cereza, the light sangria Cereza, which is a cherry sangria. We have the white wine sangria, and we have the rosé wine sangria. If memory serves me right, this is the best. But again, the fuck do I know? So, since this one is the best, we're gonna taste it. It's really nice. It's really fucking nice. Again, very, very light taste. We got apple, we got pears, but grapes. Every single of these ingredients is very subtle taste-wise. You don't have fucking pineapple, which is just like mango, overpowering. Very, very subtle. The white wine isn't overpowering. This just is like a soft drink. This is more like a juice. It tastes like a juice, but you know it's gonna get you drunk because you can taste the alcohol. So it's super good, super enjoyable. That's one. Now we got this cherry sangria. Mess. Again, this one is very, very, very good. You know what? I was wrong. The cherry, the bitterness of the cherry doesn't have the taste. This is possibly better than the first one, but it's very minimal. There's not a long difference of flavor. And finally, we have this one. Wow. This is actually really fucking good. Rosada. Wow. Well, all three of them are really fucking delicious. So it's really hard for me to decide. I have forgot to grab a giant drink. I'll be right back. There you go. I'm gonna be mixing them together because, again, it's a Friday beer. Not necessarily trying to get drunk, but again, three amazing products. And I feel like talking to you guys. It's been a while. I was sick for the last 2 weeks, I haven't done a video where I really ranted. I really had a conversation, a deep dive or a deep talk with y'all. I was gonna burp. No. There you go. I'm gonna sneeze. Very rare occasion, caught on film. He's gonna be making it viral. Why are we making those? Well, ultimately, if they're three amazing products, right? And I don't know. I just feel like breaking the rules. It just feels like, especially with the context or the subject explored in this video. And I'm on the radio, right? Just a good time. It's just something that is so great. There you go. Three bears in a wood. What was the story about the Goldilocks? There's a story about the little girl who went to a house with 3 bears. You know she got eaten. If those bears were smart enough to have a house and have gruel as bait, because that's the whole story. My apologies. That's the whole story. They've been lying to you. You're gonna grab a napkin. That's the whole story. They've been lying to you. You think the girl magically found a house, right? Where there was food, there was 3 beds, there were gruel, oh plenty. First of all, do bear even eat gruels? I dare not think so. It was a bait. They led them here just to get a meal. And this is how the hunter became the hunted. But ultimately, that brings us to the subject of tonight. The subject of tonight is lying and the truth. And how unimportant it is, right? I'm in the school of belief, Zdrovia. This is so good. And this is so fucking good. A bit more on the expensive side. I think it was 25 for 6 cans of 355. So 6 350. That's 700 times 3. That's 2,100 milliliters, which is around 2 liters. 2 versus 2,1 liters of alcoholic drink in a Clamato that costs $4. So yes, the importance of one important a lie and a truth. I'm in the school of belief that if a story is good, I don't care if it happened or not. I'm in the mindset of belief that I don't care if you lie to me, which does sound crazy, but the reason is more important to me. For example, if oh my god, this is from a couple of years ago. I was catfished. Right. I used to date a girl, and the girl, she put a picture of her when she was skinny, and then I saw her and she was a bit on the heavier side. Like, I give a shit. Look at me. Right? Like, I give a shit. And ultimately, even at that age, and that was years ago, I want to say that was 6 years ago, so I was 24. At that age, I understood that she did it out of being insecure. And you cannot get mad at somebody for being insecure, right? They still lie to you. They still catfish you. And, of course, some people would be like, oh, you fucking lied to me. But I think, like, the human thing to do is understand why they lie. Because, of course, they lied. Right? Which brings me to another subject, which is a series I've watched every single Christmas since I discovered it about 5 years ago, which is the McJuggernuggets Psycho series, which was a YouTuber who was falling from grace. A lot of people, they hate him now. And what he did for 4 years, he pretended like he was in an abusive family. And, oh my God. And we discovered it was a lie. His father wasn't abusive. His father pretended. But his whole family was in on it, right? So he lied to the public. And the people that were mad, ultimately they were really mad at him. But at the end of the day, he gave us 4 years of content. Good content, bad content, doesn't matter. He gave us 4 years of content. And in those 4 years of content, like it or not, it was something we wanted to see or we didn't want to see. It was entertainment. And he did it on YouTube. He did it on his own, right? Which was phenomenal at that time. And of course, he lied, but there was still so many hours of content. His family was in on it. His father was villainized because of that show. But his father did it for his son. And I think that a family that is this close, that is a okay, so this is me being a bit, this is me being vendetta. This is me being a bit edgy, a bit crazy, a bit out there with my ideas. Yes, he lied. Horrible. You shouldn't lie. Lying is bad. You're right. But ultimately, it was his family and him against the world. One day I'm going to be a father. I've made a lot of friends here on this platform, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Twitch. I made a lot of friends. Hi. But ultimately, I don't care. When I'm going to have a family, I'm going to have kids, those friends, although I'm very grateful for them, my kids are going to come first, right? And what he did actually was, yes, he lied, but he showed that his family was stronger and he was willing to face the world just to see one person succeed, which was this guy. He lied, then lied his father, which is an asshole thing to do. But he sacrificed it all for us. His father and him their relationship between him and his father became better. Because again, it was him against the world. It was a sacrifice of a father to his son. It was to say, hey, I lived my whole life. But when I was a father, I realized that my whole life had no meaning until you were there. That's fatherhood. And him, who gave us years of content. Don't know if it was a lie, sure. It was years of content. And that, to me, is something that I cannot get mad at. So, ultimately, am I saying I'm lying to you on every single video? No. We tasted gummies today, which was Stardust and Skittles, and I said it was tasting like shit, and they were tasting like shit. Sorry. We had Korean barbecue, Korean fried chicken, and that restaurant was not good. I didn't like it. It possibly was the best. Possibly was Korean barbecue fried chicken. Korean fried chicken might be the best fried chicken on the planet. And to my two boys that are Filipinos, Shao and Mar, they're gonna tell you that, oh, it's Jollibee, oh, it's fucking Mateos, oh, it's Lovejoy, which are all Filipino restaurants, and of course they got the Filipino pride. They got the Filipino pride covered on their chest, and they're singing the national anthem every fucking day, which is great. Ultimately, it's their belief, and that's where we're coming from. It's a belief system, right? That chicken was not good. The Jollibee chicken was amazing. The Filipino chicken was amazing. Is it the best in the world? I don't know, right? And it brings us to another world. What do you believe in, right? This week, we made a mistake. Ultimately, we're all guilty. There were 4 people. So what happened on Tuesday? We're doing a profile, and you guys know what I'm doing for work. You saw the videos. And ultimately, what happened was the boss, well, not the boss, but the manager of the department, he was like, yo, this is the limit. You have to turn it around. And I remember we had to turn it around. So the next morning, when we bring the limit to the guy who is because the manager of the department, he has to bring his kid to school. So he's coming in at 8 o'clock. And because he's coming in at 8 o'clock, there's another guy who isn't usually there. And that other guy, although he's a good person, he's not a great worker. Right? Sorry. He prefer talking to working, which is okay, it's fine. But we're 4, and if one of us slacks, all of us are paying the price, right? And we were told to turn it around, right? So we didn't check. That's my mistake. I brought some. Should have checked it, and I should have checked them before I gave it to him. That was my mistake. But the guy who put them in, he didn't check. And where the problem was because the guy who it's a complicated subject. The guy who basically made a mistake because he was putting them inside the profile. He stood in the morning with his hand in his pocket. Now, I did say that he wasn't the greatest worker. And I do mean that. He's lazy, right? But he's a good person. He's actually a really good guy. And we know he's lazy. me and the boys in the department, we know that. Okay, well, you see, and I feel bad saying this because this is not nice, but there's an unspoken rule that hey, before the other guy come, it's a bit more complicated. We have to get more involved. The other guy, which is in charge of the department, usually he's actually really good. He's an asshole too, but he's really good. And we took everything. Everybody took the blame. We made some scrap. We had some 17 profile scrap, which was about $2,000 of lost. Right, so the boss was mad. Eventually, he was mad. Of course, he was mad. That's a lot of loss, and he has to explain to the company or to the client, like, "Oh, it was you. We fuck up your product." Which because the product we were sent was the product of the client. They're like, "Okay, well, we got this piece of metal, already painted. You just need to put them it, which is a piece of plastic that is gonna put them together." So, how could I explain this? Yeah, those two pieces of metals, right? They got hooks in them. You put a piece of plastic, right, inside, and they go together. We put it in the machine. The piece of plastic expands, and it gets the whole pieces together. They're sticking together, right? So big story just to say, the guy didn't check, and then we were like, okay, well, guess what? It was all of her fault, right? And eventually, the boss, he got really mad, and he got mad at the guy because he was responsible. He got mad at me, the boss, which he should have. I mean, I was guilty too, but he didn't. So what happened was, the guy, who's not a good worker, lied. He lied. Now we knew that the three of us, the three other guys that was also guilty, part of the department, we knew he lied, but we didn't know what was a lie. And at first, none of us got in trouble. So say, okay, he lied. Then later on this week, we realized that he threw us under the bus. All three of us. So, of course, there were some mad people. And I was like... And that's when I realized the finicky of lying and the truth. Fuck. I shouldn't say this on camera. This isn't a good example. I'm not a good role model. Don't follow this, okay? This is only my fucked up mind. But I wasn't mad at the lie. I didn't care that he lied. I love the boss. But I didn't care that he lied. Because I didn't lie. I care because you pushed me under the bus. So if your lie if your lie is protecting me, I'm okay with it. But if your lie puts me in danger and in trouble, you're not okay with. How does that make sense? It's a selfish, very selfish thought of self-preservation. Which is, again, a concept where I don't care about other people as long as I'm okay. Which is very, very a negative feeling to have, but it's a feeling I'm having right now. And it's a feeling that I think is linked to the fact that the company is going to be closing soon. The fact that the company is closing soon, I'm realizing that, okay, well, I have 3 years to focus on myself, and it's time to focus on myself. But the fact that I'm focusing on myself right now as I have work is not good. But again, how do I do the separation? How do I say, okay, today I can think about myself and today I have to think about others? And is it ever okay to think about yourself only? I don't know. The truth is I don't know. But coming back to the lie, and that made me question my old understanding of lie, because the two examples I gave you before work, which were McJugger Nuggets, and what was the first one? Oh yeah, so Socrates, what he said, Socrates was somebody that was really smart, one of the father of psychology, one of the first shrink. He didn't have a shrink diploma, but he was one of the first shrink, was the father. A lot of his concepts are still used to this day. Him and Plato, and Freud also, but Freud was a bit fucked up, right? We'll talk about him another day. But Socrates said, lie. It's okay to lie if it's it's okay to lie if it's beneficial for everybody, and that's called a noble lie. A noble lie is a lie that promote everybody around you, and that's okay, right? What is not okay is lying to hurt people. And how do you know a lie is protecting you? So then I wonder, again, I talked in my mukbang how this past week I was dissociating I was in my mind a little bit because again, I'm like, okay, well, I'm on my own, and soon I'm gonna be losing a lot of friends, and I have to become okay with the fact that I'm gonna be losing friends, you know. And I love the boys at work, and I said it multiple times, but at the end of the day, they're not gonna be eternal, you know. Those friendships, those relationships are not gonna be eternal. And it's sad, but it's also part of life, you know. It's crazy to think that, and that's with everything. That's with my parents. They had this kid, which was me, and they believe they're still my parents, and I still love them, but we don't have the same relationship as with the kid. I'm more independent. I have my own life, and that's a separation. And even if you have like the mother of your children, or the your husband, or the father of your children, and you're like, I'm gonna be with him for the rest of my life. Well, you realize that it's not the case. You're gonna have children, and those children are gonna grow up, and you and your wife and you and your husband in the perfect world are gonna stay together. But in most cases, they're not. That's just facts, right? And it sucks because you realize that the only person that's gonna be there from A to Z is you, and this is a normal concept. You can expect a person, anybody, your parents, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your best friend, to be involved in every step of the way. They're going to be involved in most of the way, but not every single step, and that's okay because they have their own life to live. And ultimately, you realize that maybe that's where the self-preservation came from. So I was talking about self-preservation. I was wondering about lying, and I have this amazing view. So, fuck. It's a hard one. It's a really hard one. Holy shit. And that pessimistic view was to, again, my whole life has been, and I know I repeat myself and I'm sorry, but it's true. My whole life has been against good and evil, what's good, what's not good. I'm a person who wants to do good, but realize that I don't really know what good is. I'm a person that is gonna do a bad thing without realizing that they're bad thing, and it's upon me to know that they're bad thing. But when you didn't have the social experience, because you're a gamer and you play video game for the most of your life, and you're missing critical information when it comes to social interaction, you realize that, holy shit, I've done some wrong. I've hurt some people that I didn't want to hurt, and you're wondering why you hurt those people. And even though you didn't do it on purpose, which is the noble thing to do, you're not gonna be hurting. Like I was just talking about the noble lie, and a lot of time I was lying to my friends for just by boredom, and that's not cool. That's not okay, right? And I was convinced. I was helping them, right? And I was like, okay, well, if lying is a bad thing, because again, the crazy concept, if you don't believe in that whole life, you can see here an angel and a devil. It doesn't prove much until you realize what this is, right? Flower, which is life, a skeleton, which is death, forgive but never forget, which is vendetta, kill them with kindness, which is again the property of lying. So I'm starting to realize that those lies have been hurting, and ultimately, and I know it's very wrong of me to say, and I know it's very wrong of me to do, and I do apologize, but ultimately, there's one person I'm gonna be friend with after work. It's not because the other guys are not my friend, or not because they're not good people. It's just because I'm seeing this person outside of work. They're a good friend already. We're chilling outside of work, and we're just gonna continue with that shit. They're amazing, Shao, amazing dude, right? He's the one that made me have chicken. He wanted me to check a chicken from Plamondon. I couldn't find it. And ultimately, there a lot of the people there. I'm doing a lot of social experiments. I'm trying to cram in 30 years of missed opportunity to social, and to understand social interaction, understand that they're important. They need that, right? And it's all a fucking mess. I've been wondering a lot of the things that happen or doesn't happen, right? And a lot of the things I'm wondering is, I've been so focused on when a lie is good, when is it good to lie, when is it not good to lie, or what lie is good to tell and not good to tell, that I've never been focused on the truth, on analyzing the truth. And the truth is also always good. You should always say the truth, right? Until it becomes kind of an obsession. So I've been talking about how I was obsessed with gaming. There was a game called Kingdom Hearts, right? And the main bad guy is very akin to the Star Wars movie. He discovered that the dark side had more power, and he could get more power. And the nice guy, which was Master Ericus, I still remember Master Xehanort versus Master Ericus. And I didn't play the game for 3 years. It was one of the first game I streamed. Crazy, right? I know. We're doing the gaming channel, and I'm uploading the video right now of Kingdom Hearts. And the problem with the good guy was he was so obsessed with the light. He was so obsessed with the good thing, right? That he didn't see the power. And we can see that in Star Wars. And the Jedi are so obsessed with the purity of the good thing being morally good that they're not seeing, they're blinded. They don't let themselves get love. They don't let themselves have emotion, right? And they're becoming victim of their own laws. And ultimately, yes, I understand that this is all fiction, but it's coming from a person that is coming from a writer, and that writer did have those emotion or did have those feeling at some point. And a lot of the movie we see, to my favorite movie, Attack on Titan, and V for Vendetta. Yeah. You realize that those people that wrote those, they've been through a lot. V for Vendetta, which is a movie about censorship, happened during the revolution and communism. Attack on Titan has a lot of imagery of the Second World War. Yeah, similar. I know. And then I start wondering about the truth and the value of truth. I watch a lot of documentary, and I think we're so obsessed with the truth. The truth is so fucking dangerous. Ultimately, a lie is dangerous because you shouldn't lie. You should always say the truth, right? But the truth is also dangerous because, for example, if I give you the reason why the sky is blue. Why is the sky blue? Well, it happened that the sun reflecting on the water turned the water blue. No, sorry. The water is a mirror to the sky, so the sky is blue because of that, right? And since the light of the moon isn't strong enough, that's why we got a black sky at night, right? But then again, it's different because why does sometimes the sky is pink? Why is it orange sometimes? And if it is those colors, is it because the sun has decided? And what made the sun change? We don't fucking know. We know the sky is blue, but we don't know why it's orange. We just accept it and just applaud. What a beautiful sight. I take off my camera and I film a nature corn. It's also pointless. It's also useless. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. And we're back. Sorry. And of course, the alcohol started to take a toll. And I forgot my train of thoughts. So I'll continue with this. The whole discussion about lie and truth. And whether it's okay to lie or not. I feel like it's always going to go back to the question of what is morally correct and not morally correct. And ultimately, my train of thought, my view of things, or do whatever the fuck you want. Don't care. You shouldn't care if it's a good thing or a bad thing to do. Because if you're a good person, and that's very radical, that's very asshole of me to tell you, this is very badly. Don't follow this example, but it's the truth. Do whatever the fuck you want. If you're a good person, good thing will happen. If you do some good if you're a good person, the thing that you want to do are good. If you're a bad person to the core, the thing that you want to do are bad. And the greatest thing about society is this one thing: we live in it together. So if you're a bad person and you do bad stuff, then people are going to be saying, hey, don't do this. And by telling you, hey, don't do this, you're going to question yourself. Should I do this? And ultimately, there's this balance of good versus evil. You're allowed to be this good and you're allowed to be this evil, right? And if you're too good, well, you're going to get hurt by society. And if you're too bad, then society is going to hurt you and bring you back. So you're always, if you follow societal rule and if you follow society and reaction of people, I've been preaching on this channel forever. You can control your reaction, but not the others. Doesn't mean that you should be blind to them. If somebody's mad at you, be try to understand why. Sometimes they don't make sense. Sometimes the reason why they're mad isn't a good enough reason, and you're allowed to be completely oblivious to that and say, you know what, fuck you, you're not right. But sometimes they might be right, and if your opinion is fuck you, then you're not gonna grow. And as a human, your goal is ultimately to grow and become the best version of yourself, like whether it's by telling lies or by saying the truth. We're so obsessed with the truth, right? That we don't see around it. We accept the truth as an absolute. The greatest thing about lies is nothing is an absolute. Are you right or are you wrong? Sometimes you're gonna say a lie and you're gonna be right. That's called luck. If you're saying the truth and you believe it's an absolute and you convince people, then you're spreading the wrong word. And because you believe it's a truth, then you're doing more damage than you're curing. For example, so I'm gonna give an example of the Bible, right? And that's a dangerous subject. I'm not trying to offend anybody. My parents were very religious. As a kid, I went to church study. I went to church study. Yeah, that's what they call Bible study. Sorry, and we were studying the Bible, and I remember asking myself question. And the truth is, I had ADHD. And the reason why I was asking myself the question was that because I wasn't paying attention to what they were saying. So I was paying attention to first certain phrases, certain sentences, but taken out of context, it didn't make sense, right? Well, take somebody that misunderstands the Bible, right? They've been reading the Bible and they misunderstand it, and their understanding is something they preach, and they're taking things out of context, and they don't explain what the Bible meant. And they'd use it as a weapon to say, hey, you should do this because the Bible says so. Well, if you look at the Bible, what it is, every commandment has a reason. If you're looking at the Bible, you know that Jesus was protecting Mary, who was on paper a prostitute, right? And am I saying that since Jesus protected a prostitute, you should protect a prostitute? Whatever the fuck you want. I'm also saying that Judas, which was one of the apostles of Jesus, betrayed Jesus. Right? Was he right? Was he wrong? A lot of people are going to say he's wrong, but he had his reason. And it doesn't matter if his reason were right or wrong. He had his reason. You can agree or disagree. And most people disagree. And because of most people disagree, you'd be able to think that maybe that's the right answer. But what if they were wrong? You see, this is the truth. This is the truth. That's what I'm trying to say. This is what exactly I'm trying to say. Judas betrayed Jesus. And again, I'm not trying to be religious. I'm not trying to go overzealous with religion. Betrayal is awful. Judas should be condemned. He should have been punished. Did you know what they don't say? A lot of people, when they're saying, you know what? Have another sip because it's too good. People that say, oh, Judas betrayed Jesus. The only person hurt by Judas' betrayal was Jesus. And what did Jesus did? He forgave Judas. He forgave him. And ultimately that was lead us here. Judas lied. And Jesus knew he was a lie, but he didn't care. Judas could have said the truth, but he lied and he didn't care. And it's such a complicated question. What is the right thing to do here? What is the wrong thing to do? And I'm resorting to religion as an example because I think it's one of the most important example out there. I'm a big believer. I'm in love with the Norse mythology because it explains a lot. I'm not the most religious guy, but the fact that Norse mythology, was there even an Odin, a Loki, a Thor? Possibly not, but the fact that they had an explanation and it somehow made their so this is another. Honestly, I didn't even think about that. This is how crazy my brain is. This is ADHD at its best. I use the church and the Bible as a speech, and the reason I did that was because I was thinking about the war in Israel and Palestine, and I don't know the Torah and I don't know the Quran, right? I don't know any of those books. I know the Bible a little bit. So I use the Bible as a sign of saying, okay, well, this is something that's going on right now. We're going to become relevant. We're going to be thinking about the Bible and the effect that it has and how it guides us in a positive fashion or in a negative fashion, depending on the person and their perception or understanding of said Bible, right? And then you see the best example of a lie or a truth. The Viking believed hardcore that when it was thunder, it was Thor. hammering something. They believed that Odin was the all-seeing father. They had an explanation for everything and everything. And if mythology is a lie or if it is the truth, they had this explanation for everything. And the fact that they had an explanation for everything is something that is phenomenal, because at the end of the day, they were able to say, okay, well, this happened because of this and this happened because of that. And it doesn't matter if it was a lie or a truth. They were able to explain things and put people at ease. The problem with the Viking and the problem of a lot of people from that era was the lack of education. They didn't have a school system, and ultimately the school system is a flawed system. You can complain about the school system, you can complain about the subject being studied, you can complain about the material being studied, but we're lucky we have a school system because it assures us that we have a clear understanding, and it assures us that we can read, that we can write, that we can calculate, right? It doesn't matter if there's a lie in the system, as long as we take advantage of it, which is again writing and reading. There's so many stuff in my mind that's going on. Lying. I was talking about. I'm joking. I'm joking that I love this actress, right? And she's a porno actress. And okay, so we. I cannot just say this without saying the reason because of it. Right? I'm gonna be looking like a porn addict, which is nothing wrong, but right. I'm joking that I've been watching because all of the guys at work are married or in a relationship. I'm the only dude that's single there, right? Which is a fucking miracle because we're kind of 15, and that's great. That's absolutely phenomenal for the 14 of them. Do I wish I was in a relationship? No, I'm okay being single, but it's just again, I'm the odd person out because I'm not in a relationship, which is fine because I'm 1 out of 15, which is this is 6% of the school. That's not the school, the workplace. And we're joking about, oh, I love her, I love her, I love her, and somebody says her tits are fake, and that person was not in a good mood, and it was the guy I talked to during the lie. The guy got in trouble, and he got in trouble because he made a mistake. He was in a bad mood, so just to be a dick, just to attack me, or to attack anybody at all. It wasn't directed at me, it was directed at the first person he could attack. And he said, oh, her tits are fake. And I didn't react properly, I admit. I understand that he was mad, I shouldn't have acted the way I was. But he was clearly trying to, we were all joking, everybody was laughing. People know I'm fucking around, people know that I'm not in love with a porn actress. Right? I'm joking. People, they know that, but he was trying to attack me. And I had a bad reaction. And I was saying, yeah, but you're not focusing on the right thing. On the right word. You're saying the right thing, but you're not focusing on the right word. So he asked me, what should I focus on? Tits? And I was like, oh, that's a great guess. Everybody loves boobs. And if you don't, that's fine too. But people at work, a lot of everybody at my job, they like boobs. So when we talk about totality, we're talking about the people there. The people there, they totally love boobs. Does that make sense? No? Thank you, Pipito. Delicious. And I understand that some people can be offended. We talk about that at work. But I mean, the boys are old school. A lot of people are over 50, 60. It's a different era. It's a different generation. It's a different mentality, you know? And we got the young boys, which is me and a couple of the guys. But most of the people here are over 40. It's a different mentality, right? Different background, too. And we're talking about those kind of things because that's just a subject that we like to talk about. And admittedly, I don't think it's the best subject we talk about. We could talk about politics. But hey, I don't lead conversation. I'm just happy I'm here. I'm here with the boys for the last couple of months. Because again, in March, we're leaving. So it's not time for a debate. It's not time for me to say, hey, you think about politics, stop talking about tits. Right? To just say, I'm happy I'm with the boys for one last time or the last 2 months. And yeah. Anywho, and he focused on the word fake. And I was like, no, that's not the word you should focus on. Then he had it. He said, her tits are fake. And it was hers. If you love somebody, Netflix came up with a show called Love is Blind. And ultimately, their show is a great show. Wow. Arguably. The first couple of seasons, amazing. I love one of the couple, the interracial couple of Matt. I don't remember their name. Fuck. I'm too drunk. But yeah, I think it's Laura and Matt. I knew who they welcome to the Hamilton. Yeah. That's a podcast, and they're great people. And I'm so happy that they won, because honestly, out of every single person out of the show, I think they're the two most stable people on the show. But basically, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that Love is Blind is a concept that they put. Can we truly fall in love if you don't see the person? And I believe that yes, we can. The problem is not falling in love. The problem is love blind. Oh, I've been drinking too much. Got a puking sensation. Inky, man of matter. Okay. The question isn't can we fall in love blindly. The question is can we stay in love with somebody that we met blindly? Can we stay in love? Because that's a hard thing. Falling in love is easy. I go to fucking Starbucks, order a fucking coffee, and fall in love. That's the easy part. The hard part is staying in love. And staying in love is a lot harder, right? And they're presenting the show as, oh, is Love is Blind. Love is blind, but not in the sense that they're showing. Love is Blind is a question of perception, a question of understanding. The question is love blind. It's blind because when you're in love, you don't care about the flaws of the person. You don't care if they're fucking flawed. You don't care about the fucking stupid thing they're doing. You don't care about the mistake they make. You care about them and them alone. And that's the most beautiful thing you can have when you're in love, is having somebody that you don't care about. You're blinded by their presence. They can burn the fucking... Being in love is a person borrowing your car, driving, getting in an accident, wrecking your car. My apologies. It was a big one. Causing thousands of dollars of damage. And knowing that you don't give a shit about the car. You just love them. That's unconditional love. Your children, you're always going to forgive them because they're your kids. That's unconditional love. Love is blind. Love is unconditional. Right? And they present it as a physical. And my problem with the show, and the reason why we're saying this is because you're asking a question and your presentation is flawed. My problem with the show is they're romanticizing. The people that are going there, they put them there because they're going to give it a show. First of all, the second reason is they're not going to put someone that's ugly on the show. They're going to put people that are arguably beautiful. Again, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. At this point, I'm fucking drunk. I'm fucking drunk, bro. Shit. They're putting people they're going to be looking good on camera because, again, it's a show. Don't be fooled. It's all a fucking lie. It's all a fucking show. It's all a fucking spotlights. You want people that, A, are going to give us a show, and B, are going to be looking good. Do you know why? Can I tell you a secret? Can I tell you a secret, please? If you have a beautiful person on a reality show about Love is Blind, in their Instagram handle, we're talking about Instagram, we're not talking about the show, we're talking about Instagram, right? It's changing. So if you're looking at show like 90 Days Fiance, and a lot of people on those show are going to change their handle to their name and 90 Days Fiance, right? If you look at Angela Deem, which is one of the biggest figure on 90 Days Fiance, a piece of shit, a fucking mess, arguably a horrible person, Angela Dean. Horrible. Look at her history. She protected her daughter that was having sexual relationship with a minor. She treats her husband like shit because he's looking for a green card and she knows it, so she's abusing him horribly. And TLC are presenting that, right? And the question with that is, why am I going there? Is because Love is Blind are going to be putting their participants on Instagram, and they're gonna be taking care of the social media career. And by taking care of the social media career, if somebody that's been on Love Is Blind, hitting the front page, the front row, they're gonna be showing up like, yo, this is a participant of the show Love Is Blind. It's publicity. It's an investment of publicity. And we're all guilty. Me, you, the person beside you, the person who's gonna be watching this show or this video in 5 years. Understand that you're part of the problem too. We're part of the problem. We follow people on Instagram because they're A, interesting, B, sharing interests with us, but C, a lot of the people we're following, we just think they're beautiful. The number of girl, right? I'm following on Instagram because they're model or they're looking beautiful and they're promoting their OnlyFans, and I couldn't care less about their OnlyFans. They're promoting it. And that's the problem. You know why? Because Instagram see me following those girls, and they're gonna say, okay, well, we by our algorithm and by our system, or sorry, I'm drunk. Oof. Our system or bots are gonna say, well, he's single, nice watching girl. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some girls in his recommended that he follows. And the reason why Instagram does that is because the more interesting people you follow, the more you're interested in following them and understanding what's up with them. And the more you're interested in people, the more interested in what's going on with them, the more time you spend on the ad. And the more time you spend on the ad, the more publicity they put on the ad. And the more publicity that they're being watched, the more money they make. And Instagram is a business. It might be a social media, but it's a business. And their goal is to make money everywhere. Right? Understand that. Understand, please. Just understand that. So, yeah. Where was I even with that? Social media or media are feeding us so much things. Our perception of truth, and it's crazy because we accept this as a truth. Social media and media are gonna present us an information, and we're not even gonna Google it. We're gonna hear some shit on the TV. We're gonna hear some shit on the radio. We're gonna be hearing some shit about the weather, and we're gonna believe this because why would TV lie to us, right? And why would media lie to us? Because media are showing sensationalism, which is basically sensation, which is, okay, well, I'm going to be presenting a story of a cat that was rescued because everybody loves cats. We're going to be showing a picture of a dog and a funny video of a kid making a mistake. Because everybody loves kid, right? And then when it's time to talk about things that are important, like Palestine and Gaza or Israel, we're not going to talk about it because nobody wants to see that. Nobody wants to see people dying and people suffering. So we know that if we show that on TV, our rates, our viewers, the amount of people that are watching this show, the amount of people that are watching publicity presented on this show is going to go down. So we're trying to maintain viewership. And by trying to maintain viewership, we try to maintain story that are going to keep the viewership. And by keeping those viewership, we can present publicity. By presenting publicity to a larger amount of people, just like on Instagram, we make more money. Yeah. See? Crazy. Drunk. Lying versus the truth. Yes, somehow makes sense. Choose what you want to believe. We're so lazy that we accept everything as the truth. Maybe I'm wrong. Who's to tell you I'm right? Nobody. You know? And that's the craziest thing. I could be wrong. And that's so scary to think so. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. See, we're so spoon-fed and... Okay, this is another conspiracy theory. Not a conspiracy. Do I believe what I'm saying? To a certain degree, do I think it's the absolute? No. Always question. Always verify. Always wonder things that are around. Always wonder what is the truth, what is the lie. We're so... We know that blue from the sky, right? It is a soothing color, and a lot of people are going to be attributing the fact that blue is the color of the sky, and by the color of the sky we can agree that by having a blue sky we're able to see a lot of good things, a lot of good change, and by having some good change we're able to see that, okay, well, guess what, those are attributed to the fact that we're calmer, and the fact that we're calmer is because of the color blue, and the fact that it's calmer is water, right? The reflection of water which made the sky blue. Water is extremely appeasing. If you're going to the beach, why do people like going to the beach? Right? For the water. You can go to a pool. If I give you the choice, right? You have an off day, but you have to do one of two things. You have to go to the beach. You have to go to the city pool. You choose what? The beach. You know why? Well, you have this illusion of being away from the city. You're not away from the city. You have this illusion of being away from everything. There's still a lot of people. You're gonna have this warm sand under your feet. And the craziest thing is the power of the sand. By changing what's under your feet and by changing the landscape, you feel like you're somewhere else. And by feeling like you're somewhere else, all your problems disappear. So you choose beach because of that. We choose to believe that blue is a soothing color because we're being told that, hey, the sky is blue, so it's a good thing. But let's remember that fucking 300 years ago, 200 years ago, the fucking Titanic. Water is a dangerous place for people that are going on both. It's dangerous. Look it up on Google. Look it up. Amount of people that are dying every year to accidents that happen on high sea. Crazy numbers. You see, I'm going back to what I was saying about sensationalism. Ultimately, I was talking about the Vikings, right? And the problem they had, education. We still have the same fucking problem. Do you know the amount of lost knowledge there is? Right? We don't know how the pyramid came about. We don't know how they were made. Because we lost that knowledge. The number of things we discover from the Roman Empire, the biggest empire of them all, right? We don't know how it happened. We don't know how it happens. Because we forget it. Because we're just sheep being led by a shepherd. Sometimes the shepherd is companies. Sometimes the shepherd is the bank. Sometimes the shepherd is the media. Sometimes the shepherd is government. But we're being led. You see, again, it goes back to good versus evil. Am I saying some good things? Am I saying some bad things? Am I saying that the truth should be followed like a fucking church? Should I say am I saying that the lies should be an absolute? The thing is, I don't know. If I'm looking at one of my favorite characters, forever, it's V from V for Vendetta. V from Vendetta was a hero. Not a lot of people are going to be arguing that the main character was the character of Natalie Portman. So, a bigger backstory. V for Vendetta is a dude or a lady, we don't know, that was a victim of an experiment from the government. We're living in a society where everything is under control. Every single information is under control. It's all illusion. See, if you follow a movie like Equilibrium, which is another great movie, if you follow shows like The Matrix, which is another great trilogy, trilogy. I'm not even going to count the last one because I didn't like it. I'm sorry. Love you, Queenie Reeve. Love you, Johnny Silverhand. Love you, Neo. Love you, John Wick. This is a great dude. Amazing actor. But the last movie sucks. I'm sorry. And in V for Vendetta, we're led to believe, and this girl, which is Natalie Portman, she's been led to believe that her life is normal. And we got V. And V, we think that V is a hero or anti-hero because he destroyed things, but that's not the truth. V, his whole purpose is to shut down the government and how it's leading us and how it's lying to us. And you can see that it's in his compounds. He has a lot of movie and he has a lot of poster and books of things that are not allowed or permitted. And ultimately, I'm gonna be getting a lot of hate for this one, but one of the book I read as a child was Mein Kampf. which is if you want, a diary of Adolf Hitler. Am I saying Adolf Hitler is a good person? Absolutely not. Am I saying he was a victim? Am I saying he was under the drugs a lot of time? If you know the true story about Adolf Hitler, it's disgusting. The guy was under PCP. He was under acid for majority of his life. He was feeding PCP to his soldier, and what they did was they destroyed they destroyed knowledge, right? And if you look at Mein Kampf, right? And I'm not saying Adolf Hitler is a good person. I'm saying he's a horrible person. My issue here is a very, very, very simple issue. They stop you from reading the book. It's banned. In most places, Mein Kampf is banned. And ultimately, this is the discussion of tonight. Is Adolf Hitler a bad person? Absolutely. But if you read the book, can you discover what really happened and the knowledge of what really happened? Will it change your perception? And the answer is, I don't know. I'm not you. But the fact that you're not able to have the ability to understand or form an opinion based on information that you collected yourself is something that is factually wrong. It doesn't matter if it doesn't matter if you know somebody is wrong, as long as you know that what they did was wrong. But again, what did they do? And if everything that they did or they told you that the person did is true, that's another question. I love that they're saying that he was responsible for genocides. I love that they're saying that he was responsible for horrible acts, but I love that they don't tell you that he was under PCP. I love that they don't tell you that he was the reason why Adolf Hitler was thrown into power very, very quickly was because Adolf Hitler had a large sum of money, and Germany at that time was missing money. So his rise to power was bought with cash. And his rise to power was bought with cash because Germany was in a dire financial situation. And because he had so much power, thanks to money, he was able to do some things that he shouldn't have been able to do. And the fact that he was able to do those things, that nobody stopped him because, again, everybody needed money, is the fact that this guy is guilty. But there was a lot of people that saw him do horrible things and didn't say shit. One of his commander, I guess, general, whatever the fuck, was called Joseph Stalin. Stalin was a son of a bitch, right? He was a horrible human being, and he shared the ID of Adolf Hitler. And what he would do, he would be on a roof of houses, and there's a day out of the week, Sunday, is called Shalom. Shalom, you can do anything. You cannot do anything, right? And in Germany, it's very cold. So on Sunday, you weren't allowed to burn wood. It's not burning wood. It's about doing something. It would be on top of the roof, and he would look at the fucking chimney, and he would look at what house didn't have smoke, and it was cold. So if your house didn't have smoke, it's because you were Jewish, because you were celebrating Shalom. He didn't care if you were too poor to buy wood. He didn't care if you didn't have matches to burn a fire. He didn't care what was the reason why you didn't have a fire in your household. It was cold. You didn't have a fire. You were Jewish. If you were Jewish, Stalin thought you were supposed to die. See, that's their truth. That's their belief. That's horrible people being given too much power. And those people are criminal. Those people are fucking evil, right? And those people will never be right, no matter how you look at it. But those people were still in power, right? What to tell you about? I've been watching a lot of the P. Diddy scandal. P. Diddy, which is a rapper who is believed to have been involved in sex trafficking of minor, and he's being protected by high society because, just like Jeffrey Epstein, and Jeffrey Epstein is another example where he had powerful and influential friend which protected him from being outed as a public enemy. And he was outed as a public enemy eventually, but it took years, it took decades, right? And we're seeing this shit and we're surprised, but we don't do shit about it. And it's one thing If one person, one horrible person, one asshole came into power for a certain occasion, for a certain reason, because this country was needing of money, it's another reason why. It's one thing if somebody came into power, or a horrible person, because the economy was bad. It's another thing where people keep doing the wrong thing, and it's different people, and it keeps happening, and it keeps happening, and it keeps happening, and it's always different people, and those different people are put in power, are giving extra power, because they have money, because they have power, because they have information, because they can ruin somebody of higher grade life. It's one thing to do one thing wrong. To do mistake over mistake means that you don't improve. And as a society, we can choose to improve ourselves, but if the higher ups don't improve, nothing will ever change. Another character, and I was talking about V, right? And ultimately, V is amazing. I was watching this show recently about Attack on Titan, and one of my favorite characters is Erwin. And Erwin, why is one of my favorite characters? He's very smart. He doesn't. Oh, am I getting emotional right now? Because I love anime, because I love Attack on Titan. Erwin is one of my favorite characters because he doesn't fall into the normal protagonist type way. He's higher up in a government that is lying. He's higher up in a government that keeps on lying. He's part of a system that promotes propaganda. He's part of a system that protects the truth and lies to his countrymen. But he's not part of it. He's living on the edge, and he knows they're wrong. And if you know the truth about Erwin, which is my favorite character, let's say one of my favorite character, but not my favorite character, Erwin Smith. Attack on Titan is my favorite Attack on Titan character. And Erwin, if you know this truth behind his character, you know his father was a teacher, and you know his father had a book, a simple book. He had a simple book talking about how life was before the walls were built, at a time before the walls. And it was seen as propaganda. So his father was killed. And because his father was killed, Erwin, forever life changed. And he chose to believe the truth, knowing the truth. And just like V, for Vendetta, they were a library of the truth. And ultimately, this video isn't about lying or the truth. It's about understanding what's going on. Understanding who's lying and who's telling the truth. Understanding what is morally right, what is morally wrong. Understanding where we stand. How powerless we are, or how powerful we are. How much we understand, how much we don't understand. That's the truth. Yeah. That was a rant. That was a long video for nothing. That was me rambling. And I'm sorry. But we touched on a lot of subject. We touched on a lot of subject that arguably are right, arguably are wrong. You know, it's a question of perception. It's a question of understanding. From the Bible study to the truth. From Jeffrey Epstein to the people he was protecting. Jeffrey Epstein was a horrible person. Let's have it clear. Let's be honest here. Jeffrey Epstein should have been stopped decades ago. And Jeffrey Epstein should have been stopped way back. Do you know why he wasn't stopped? Because Jeffrey Epstein, although a horrible human being, was strong enough to understand one simple matter. One simple matter. And that simple matter was extremely simple. It was a simple fact of understanding who I'm protecting. And understanding who's wrong. If I have enough people that can take down with me as a kamikaze, if I burn, everybody burns. And we're all selfish. We're all self-righteous. We all believe that we deserve to be right, and we all think that we're right, and we all think that we understand the truth, or we understand what is right and what is wrong. We all think that we have the truth. We have the answer to this question. And we all think that because of that, we deserve to live. And we all think that we deserve self-preservation. And a lot of us, myself included, are willing to do things to self-preserve that are putting other people in danger. And ultimately, this is selfish. But at what point do a life equate to another? At what point a life is more valuable than one other? At what point am I morally wrong, but I got enough power or I got enough influence from money or from information to do whatever the fuck I want? And the second I have enough power to or influence to do whatever the fuck I want is the moment I should be stopped. Because that moment doesn't matter what's right, what's wrong. My simple truth, my simple understanding of truth, my simple belief system of what's right and what's wrong, my simple belief system of what I'm doing is okay because I said it's okay. That's when I have to be stopped, because my understanding of what is okay is coming from my experience. But another person with other experience can tell, hey, what you're doing is wrong. When I started work, I was talking a lot with the boys, and there was something that they were doing, and nothing in particular. I'm not gonna name a person or a act in particular. There was a lot of time where somebody acted in a certain type of way, and I would be like, "That's not nice. That's not okay." And I understood that I was too sensitive and a lot of things that they were doing, although it was not okay, it was more about what was able to be acceptable. What line can you cross before people think that you're a villain? And if you're able to stay beneath that line and you're able to do whatever the fuck you want, you can hurt however many people you want, as long as you stay below the line of not going too far. But who decided to put that line there? Who decided what was socially acceptable? Who decided what was morally acceptable? And ultimately, who decided that what I'm doing is okay or not okay? And the answer to that is something I'm trying to figure out. My whole life has been my whole life purpose has been to understand what's right and what's wrong, and who's right and who's wrong. And I always been charmed by lying, because most of the story I've been told as a kid, the most interesting story, were all lies. All of the Disney movie were made of fantasy. All of the fucking anime I've been watching are made of fantasy, and they're all in a world that doesn't exist. They're all like I'm listening to. I just talk about Attack on Titans, and in Attack on Titan, there's Titan. Is there Titan in the real world? No. I've been watching a lot of Naruto. Is there ninja in real world? No. Well, ninja with powers or chakra. Watching a lot of One Piece. Is there such a thing as a devil fruit? No. But those things all came from a person that exists in the real world. It all came from their imagination, and it all came from their understanding of life. And it's the fact that you can take a work of fiction and say, hey, this might be a work of fiction, but I'm able to install it in real life. And the reason why we love those anime, the reason why we love those movies, because they make us feel a certain type of way. They make us feel some type of emotion. But the power, the simple fact that you're able to take a made-up world, I don't know, fucking Lion King, of talking animals, right? And a kid sees this and say, hey, this makes sense. This is relatable. There's an animal that talks. People, they know that animals don't talk. Everybody knows that. From the age of 2 or 3, animals don't talk, right? Yet it was still emotional enough. It was still a good enough lie, or a good enough made-up lie, for you to say, I identify as this. I agree with this. It's not identify it. There's a specific word for it. Is I associate with this. And it's a really powerful thing to take a lie and to make a world where people feel at home. It's a really powerful thing to take a truth and make everybody happy. The truth is, the fact that I'm charmed by lies is a simple attribute, or a simple understanding, or a simple show of how lazy we've become, and how much a truth is hard to digest, and how much you can tell somebody a lie to protect their feelings, and ultimately you're enabling those emotions. For example, if somebody is quick to anger, did something wrong, right? And you know they did something wrong, but they're your friends, so you're trying to protect them, and you say, hey, the other person was wrong. It's not you, it's them. So you're lying to protect your feeling, and you're telling them they're wrong and not your friend. And by saying this, you're saying to your friend, you're right, and you're enabling a bad behavior by not correcting that behavior. You're enabling them to make the same mistake again. But then, are you the person? Are you fated? FATED. Are you absolutely the person that should say, there should be a police of morality and say, you're able to decide what's right and wrong? Who made you king? Who made you able to say to a person, well, I think your opinion values more than a person? You have to understand, and again, this is preaching to the choir, but you have to understand that you understanding or thinking or having this understanding of something is right because I know it's right might be wrong. What if every single thing that you were told were righteous weren't righteous? What if every single thing that you were said was okay to do were not okay? What if you thought you were destined for heaven, but you end up in hell? What if all those questions didn't have an answer? What if everything was a simple case of fate and predestination? We were talking about predestination this week, and again, it falls under this simple subject. I was fated to have this experience that I had. I was fated to watch a show and listen to music I've been listening to. I've been fated to understand, to have an understanding of things because of those shows, because of those people that are in my life. And I was fated to have this. It is crazy. I was fated to have this understanding that might be flawed or right. I was fated to have this understanding of life that may be wrong or right. I was fated to understand life in a different fashion than my neighbor. Now, who's right? Me? My neighbor? Ultimately, the truth is, I'm right. I'm right because I'm making a video. And I'm going to be putting this video on YouTube. And my neighbor will never do a video. It will never put a video on YouTube. Now, if this gets 50 views, and out of those 50 views, 10 people agree, and my neighbors doesn't put a video, so not putting a video equates 0 views. And when you have 0 views, nobody cares, nobody understands, nobody can agree because they haven't saw, or they don't understand, or they haven't heard your point of view. And even though I'm wrong, since people hear what I'm saying, and it kind of makes sense, and they say, you know what? I haven't heard the other truth. I haven't heard the other person's truth. This is the only information I have, so I'm going to follow this information. You don't care about what the other person thinks. You don't care about the second party opinion. You don't care about their version. You heard their version and that was good enough for you. And that's laziness. That's being obsessed with the truth. Not your truth. Not their truth. A truth that was presented to you. Because you're convinced that the information brought upon you is the truth, because that way you have an excuse to say, hey, I know what's going on. I'm informed about the subject. I'm informed about what's going on. And you think that by being informed, doesn't matter if you know the truth, at least you're aware of the situation. Who's right? Palestine? Israel? Who's wrong? Who knows? You see? A lot of subject, a lot of rambling. This is a long ass video. I'm sorry. Question everything. Just question everything. Just question life itself. Question what you learn. Question your decision. Question the movement you took this week. Question the action you take this week. And if they were right and if they were wrong. And you know, my mom is gonna see this video. My mom, she watched most of my videos. Thank you, Mom. Love you. And it's sad to me that I have to present this because I know my mom's gonna watch it, and ultimately I want my mom to be proud of me, and ultimately I want my friends to be proud of me. But it's what I truly believe, and I know it's pessimistic, and I know it's a bit radical because I've talked about religion, I talk about Hitler, I talk about Judas, talk about Jesus. You know, those are all radical subjects, but they're pure example, they're mere example of what's going on. You know the Will Smith You know the Will Smith slap that happened last year? Well, there was a whole movie in the 92. The same exact scene happened, which makes you think that it might have been staged. And it might make you think that the whole thing you thought was true wasn't the truth. But ultimately, it's only a slap, right? Who cares about a slap? Well, I care because I've been lied to. I care because I've been presenting something as a truth that is not the truth. I care because I had a belief system that was shackled by people that were dishonest. And again, I started the video by saying I don't mind a lie. So being lied to about a slap, I shouldn't care. But it makes me think, who else is lying? You know, I've been thinking about those lies that I've been told, those lies that I've seen that I'm okay with, I know they're lies. How much of what I think is the truth is a lie? And that's a really harmful thing. It's not, oh, you lied to me, he's a bad person. That's not a bad thing. The bad thing is truly what's a lie, what is not. The bad thing is truly how many people have lied to me today. And how many of them can I know or do I trust? And ultimately, I don't think you should trust every single thing. When I say question everything, I do mean everything. And there's another thing. Your parents, talking about my mom before, my parents taught me their belief. And I'm not talking about religion, I'm talking about in general, their belief system of what's right and what's wrong, and morality and values and priorities and how to live your life. And my parents taught me their belief system, but their belief system might be flawed. Their belief system might be something that is wrong. And their belief system might be something that needs to be challenged. But when they taught me those things, when they told me those things, they weren't expecting to be wrong. They did this to protect me. They did it just to help me out. They did this to raise me. But what if what they were believing was a lie? And what if, by being lied to, they didn't promote this lie, but they passed a lie along as an inheritance? That lie, I wouldn't think my parents lied, right? And by lying to me, they didn't do wrong. It's truly their belief system. It's truly what they believe in, what they didn't believe, and it's truly what they thought was right. You know, my parents are not going to say something to me, and when I say this, I truly believe it. My parents are not going to tell me something that is wrong to put some stick in my wheels or to put some obstacle on my road. Everything they're teaching me is to help me out one way or another, and everything that they're doing is for my own benefit because they're my parents. But if they were wrong, I cannot be mad at the lie. If somebody transfer a lie, or if somebody repeats a lie that he doesn't know that's a lie, or he or she doesn't know it's a lie, I can't be mad at them. They just don't know better. You see? And that makes you question the establishment or the foundation of the truth. Is the establishment of the truth, I trusted the person that told me, so I believe them because I believe them is the truth? I actually did my research, and I know it's the truth because of multiple resources or multiple sources. I've confirmed this. It's crazy. What if psychology? I'm trying to think about somebody that's current. Let's say Jordan Peterson, and he's wrong about something, and because he's wrong about something, and he talked about it in his speech, everybody believes him. David Goggins, everything that he says, he believes in. But what if it was wrong? You can't really be mad at somebody that's promoting a lie if they don't know that's a lie. It's their belief system. And that's another thing about the truth and a lie. It's their belief system. It's their opinion of said perception. Is their opinion of said experiences. Is their opinion of their whole life course, their whole life everything that happened in their life. Everything that happened in your life is gonna teach you things about life. I touched fire. Okay, I touched fire. I was 4 years old. I saw a fire, and I touched it because I was curious. I burned myself. It hurts. My brain knows, hey, don't touch fire. You're gonna get hurt. So when I'm seeing fire, I'm remembering the pain, right? But if somebody is 30 years old and never touched fire and never burned themselves, they don't know that. And I can tell them, hey, it hurts. Doesn't mean it's the truth. It hurts me. Is it not gonna hurt them? Ultimately, yes, because it's fire. But to what extent? Anywho, I'm rambling. Love you guys. Peace.